Okay, so here's another video outlining some things that I think tidal cycles can do that other tools can't. Or they can, but it's just harder and more inconvenient. Another one of those functions that comes to mind is called byte. So say you have this pattern, this percussive pattern. This is using a folder of sounds I got from my friend Bread Not Bread years ago. Fantastic sounds, awesome artist. And you want to loop this pattern just over the first quarter. So like the first quarter of this you want looped. Now you can use this function called byte. It takes two arguments, the number of chunks to split this pattern into, and the order in which those chunks should be played back. So in this case, I have the first chunk played back 4 times. Do the second chunk, third chunk, fourth chunk, etc. Or I could just repattern them. So first, second, fourth, third. Or just cut something out. It's very useful in a pinch, but its limitation is that it only splits one cycle into chunks. To split more than one cycle into chunks, say you have like a long loop, like this one is a long chord progression that loops over 8 cycles. What you can do is write a little custom function that I call byte in that basically uses fast and slow to cram X number of cycles into one cycle, run byte on that, and then spread it out back over X number of cycles. So in this case, we are taking, we are cramming all this 8 cycle loop into one cycle, chunking that one cycle into 8 chunks, and then playing back the first chunk 8 times, and spreading that back out over 8 cycles. So this pattern, you'll notice, loops the first cycle 8 times. But where it gets really powerful and interesting and harder for DOS to do, I think, is you can use byte to stretch or compress the timing of events in each chunk. Like here we have the first cycle spread out over 4 cycles. And I mean, you could do it over, you could also condense it, maybe do it like half a cycle, which would look something like this. Plays a double time. This is really powerful. You can do some fun stuff with this. Here's an example, something I did, where I have the first 2 cycles played back normally, and then the third cycle overlaid with the fourth cycle overlaid with the fifth cycle at halftime, and then it's funny reading this. I'm like, oh, I have to offset it by 1 mentally. But this is a very, very powerful tool for rearranging arrangements quickly. But a word of caution in that the more stuff you do here, the more complex this pattern gets, the harder it is going to be to understand what modifications to all this will be doing to the pattern overall. Like you might modify something in timbre, but that modification isn't even reached because you're not playing back that chunk. And that's something to watch out for. When you use byte, you really got to be focusing on this. Your focus shifts here, away from here, I think. But byte is incredibly powerful, and it's useful to pinch. So, hope some of that helps.